Let me give you the context of what led to this explosion. Over the past 3 months, the relationship between Trump and Lula had been improving. After that tariff crisis last July, Vice President Geraldo Alckmin managed to negotiate a deal. The tariffs were lifted, the Magnitsky Act issue against Justice Alexandre de Moraes was resolved, and it seemed like Brazil and the United States had reached a point of equilibrium. Trump even praised Lula a few times, said he liked him, that they were doing good business together. But all of that collapsed this morning. And what caused it? A meeting that took place in Beijing 2 days ago. On Tuesday, Lula was in China for the BRICS summit. And during that trip, he signed a deal that left Trump absolutely furious. Brazil closed a $50 billion contract with China for oil, soybeans, and iron ore exports over the next 10 years. 50 billion. And there's a detail that made everything worse. The payment will be made in yuan, not dollars. This means Brazil and China are bypassing the US dollar in commercial transactions, and Trump sees this as a personal betrayal. But the trade deal wasn't the only problem. On the same trip, Lula participated in a meeting with Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin via video conference. An audio from that meeting leaked, where Lula supposedly said that Brazil can no longer accept American pressure on sovereign decisions, that multilateralism is dead, and that global South countries need to unite against US hegemony. When that audio reached Washington last night, Trump exploded. According to White House sources, he reportedly told his team, "This guy deceived me, pretended to be my friend while scheming behind my back with China and Russia. And this morning, he decided to do what he does best, publicly humiliate." The press conference was scheduled to talk about the American economy, employment numbers, routine stuff. But when a journalist asked about the relationship with Brazil, Trump completely deviated from the planned topic and started attacking Lula without any filter whatsoever. Let me show you exactly what Trump said. And look, I'm going to read this almost word for word because it's important you understand the gravity of what was said. Trump started like this. "You know, I liked Lula. I really did. He came here, was polite, we talked well. I even thought, this guy is different. This guy understands that the United States is important for Brazil. But you know what he did? He betrayed me. He went to China, bowed down to Xi Jinping, kissed Putin's ring, and closed deals that directly harmed the United States. And you know what's worse? He did this while pretending to be my friend. That's what I call two-faced. He's two-faced. And Brazil is going to pay dearly for this. Very dearly. Starting today, all Brazilian imports to the United States will have a 100% tariff. Coffee, beef, orange juice, steel, everything. They want to do business with China? Great. Then sell everything to China. We don't need Brazil. They need us. And they're going to learn that the hard way. The silence in the room after that statement was total. Journalists looking at each other in disbelief at what they just heard. Because Trump didn't just announce tariffs. He personally humiliated Lula, called him two-faced, a traitor, said he bowed to China, and made it clear this is punishment, not trade policy. This is revenge. And the 100% tariffs aren't symbolic, they're devastating. Let me explain the real impact of this on the Brazilian economy. The United States is Brazil's second largest trading partner, second only to China. We export about $40 billion a year to the US. With 100% tariffs, these products become unviable. A kilo of coffee that costs $10 goes to $20. Brazilian beef that costs $15 per kilo goes to $30. Nobody's going to buy it. Brazilian companies will go bankrupt. Jobs will disappear. And agribusiness, which is the backbone of the Brazilian economy, will collapse. But the humiliation didn't stop there. After the speech, Trump posted on Truth Social a montage with the Brazilian flag upside down and wrote, "Brazil chose communism over freedom, chose China over America. Now they'll feel the consequences. Hashtag Brazil will pay dearly." And attached a photo of Lula next to Xi Jinping with the caption, "Friends of the regime." This isn't diplomacy, this is war declared. And Lula's response came quickly. 3 hours after Trump's press conference, the Planalto Palace called the press. Lula walked into the room visibly irritated and spoke for 15 minutes non-stop. I'll give you the main points because it was a historic speech. Lula began, I bow to no one, not to Trump, not to Xi Jinping, not to Putin. Brazil is a sovereign country, and I'm not going to apologize for defending the interests of the Brazilian people. If President Trump thinks he can publicly humiliate me and Brazil will accept it quietly, he's very wrong. He continued, the 100% tariffs are illegal under World Trade Organization rules. We are going to the WTO immediately. And furthermore, if the United States wants a trade war, we are going to respond in kind. Starting tomorrow, Brazil will impose 100% tariffs on all American products, technology, machinery, chemical products, everything. And we'll offer these contracts to Europe and Asia. And then came the hardest part. Lula looked straight at the camera and said, I want to make one thing clear to the Brazilian people. This crisis was not caused by me. It was caused by an American president who doesn't accept that Brazil has partners beyond the United States, who thinks we're his backyard. But I wasn't elected to be submissive. I was elected to defend Brazilian sovereignty. And that's what I'm going to do, whatever it costs. If our economy suffers, the blame is on whoever declared this war, not on whoever refused to kneel. The room erupted in questions, but Lula didn't answer any. He went straight to an emergency meeting with ministers of economy, foreign relations, and agriculture. And according to Planalto sources, the guidance was clear. Prepare immediate and maximum retaliation. Don't back down an inch. Now, while Brazil and the United States enter into total collision course, the rest of the world is watching carefully. Because this isn't just about coffee and beef, it's about power. It's about which model of international relations will prevail. Trump wants a world where the United States commands and others obey. Lula wants a multipolar world where emerging countries have a voice. And this conflict, which started with a trade deal with China, has become the ultimate test of that dispute. China, by the way, has already positioned itself. The spokesperson for China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs held a press conference 2 hours ago and was direct. Brazil is a strategic partner of China, and any attempt at economic coercion against Brazil will be seen as aggression against the principle of free and fair trade. China is prepared to significantly increase Brazilian imports to compensate for any loss of the American market. Translation: China is saying they'll buy everything the United States stops buying, and they'll pay well. This takes some of the economic pressure off Brazil, but creates another problem, because now Brazil is being forced to choose a side. And Trump knows this. His strategy is clear. Isolate Brazil, force Lula to back down, and show the world that challenging the United States has consequences. But Lula also has a strategy. He's betting that Trump won't withstand internal pressure, because 100% tariffs on Brazilian products will increase the cost of living in the United States. Coffee will get more expensive, beef too. Orange juice that's already scarce will disappear from shelves. And the US election is next year. Trump can't afford to irritate American voters with high inflation because of a fight with Brazil. So we're in a classic stalemate. Two leaders with giant egos, neither willing to back down, and entire economies being used as weapons. And the people pay the price. Brazilian businessmen are already panicking. The Federation of Industries of the state of São Paulo issued a statement calling for urgent dialogue. Agribusiness is terrified, and American consumers will feel it in their wallets too. But politics isn't made of economic logic. It's made of pride, ego, and power. And right now, Trump and Lula are more concerned with not looking weak than protecting their own economies. The question everyone's asking is, how long will this last? International analysts are divided. Some think one of them will back down within a week. Others think this could last months and cause permanent damage to US-Brazil relations. Some even say this could permanently push Brazil into the Chinese camp and end decades of partnership with the United States. What we know is this. Tomorrow morning, the World Trade Organization will receive two simultaneous complaints. One from Brazil against the US, another from the US against Brazil, both alleging illegal tariffs. The process could take years. Meanwhile, the tariffs continue. The US Congress is divided. Republicans support Trump unconditionally. Democrats are criticizing, saying this is irresponsible and will hurt American workers. In Brazil, the opposition is using this to attack Lula, saying he unnecessarily provoked the United States. Lula supporters are defending, saying he's doing the right thing by not submitting. And the Brazilian population is in the middle, not knowing if they'll have jobs next month. So let's summarize this whole mess. Trump publicly humiliated Lula, calling him two-faced and a traitor. Announced 100% tariffs on all Brazilian products. Lula responded with 100% tariffs on American products and said he bows to no one. China offered to compensate Brazilian losses in the American market. The whole world is watching what could be the beginning of a new global economic order, and nobody knows how this ends. What I can tell you is that the next 48 hours are crucial. If neither backs down, we're going to see escalation. More tariffs, more retaliation, maybe even diplomatic sanctions. Companies will start laying off workers, products will disappear from shelves, and the trade war that was just a threat becomes reality. If this video helped you understand this historic conflict between Brazil and the United States, leave a like. Subscribe to the channel because we are going to follow every move of this crisis minute by minute. And in the comments, tell me, do you think Lula was right not to back down, or should he have avoided this conflict? Or do you think Trump went too far and humiliated Brazil unnecessarily? I want to know your opinion because this is the conflict that could redefine Brazil for the next 20 years. See you in the next video, and remember, when two leaders decide to measure strength, the people always pay the price.